Hi and welcome back to my channel. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this video. Before we dive into the game today, I want to give you a little update because just a couple of days ago I came back from the calling in Copenhagen. And when you have watched my first video on this channel, I shared back then that I'm a very, very average player and I never managed to day 2 a calling. Well, I need to update that because actually in Copenhagen at the calling, I managed to make day 2. Day 1, I ended up 5-2 and yeah, managed to get into day 2, which was very, very exciting for me. I never thought this to be possible, but probably making this video has already helped me quite a bit. And to be honest, obviously, I didn't see my absolute unfavorable matchups. Day 2 also went very, very well for me, and I ended the tournament at 8-4, actually ending up 30th place, so cashing the tournament, which was crazy. And before the weekend, I would have never expected this. The highlights for me in this, well, obviously becoming 30th place was one of the highlights, but I also beat two very good pro players. In day 1, I beat Michael Hamilton on Gravy, and in day 2, I beat Arthur Trehet on Gravy. I'll go into that into a little bit more detail because I'm going to record a double deck tech and also discussion with Konrad Niva from Sweden, who actually became the Battle Hardened winner in Copenhagen on Marionette. And so yeah, we're going to compare our deck lists a little bit, talk about our tournament runs. We're going to record that in the next couple of days, so hopefully you can watch this next week. But for now, obviously we have a game to watch, and today I want to talk to you about Mario against Verdance. So let's dive right in. And so one thing I need to note here up front is that I'm playing AB1, and it's something that I'm still debating right now. Is it AB1? Is AB0 okay as well? Actually, in Copenhagen, I played a couple of matches against Verdance in side events where I played AB0, which also worked out quite well. So I'm not yet 100% decided on this. So please let me know in the comments what you think, what is best here. Do you play AB1? Do you play AB2? AB3 maybe even? Or is it AB0 in here? But so diving into the game, my opponent starts and Verdance plays here with an E-Strike. I have 4 cards with 3 block, so I'm definitely giving them some cards. Deciding here to go with a Take Up the Mantle, nothing in graveyard yet, and Shred, as Save a Bloodshed and Kiss of Death usually fit quite well together. The next attack is Burn Bear here from the Verdance, so obviously I'll AB1 and decide to use the Kiss of Death here. And yeah, thinking how to do this, I have 2 blues, which is good. I have a Pick Up the Point to get one of the daggers back, and I have the Save a Bloodshed. So yeah, diving right into it. Playing the Save a Bloodshed first, then pitching. Obviously, my opponent then knows what is happening here. But given I have another blue to pitch in theory, I thought, yeah, this might be a good life. I could have also played a Hunter's Clave first, then played the Save a Bloodshed into another Clave. But here they are not blocking the Hunter's Clave. They don't have prevention, so I flick the other one as I have one retrieve in my hand still. And, oh, okay, so interesting. I draw another Pick Up the Point, so it's very easy here. Going for 3, re-equipping the dagger, and then putting the other one in arsenal. Cool. So putting this into arsenal, as said. And my next hand also has some power, right? With the Toxin, with the Mark of the Black Widow. Still have 2 daggers. I still have a retrieve. They are playing the Felling, and they are able to banish 3 cards here. So I put the Codex underneath deck, as this is the least important for me now, as I don't have that much in graveyard. And the 4 damage, it's fine for me. I take this. So I want to mark them first. That's why I only send the Hunter's Clave here for 1. Very often, opponents obviously don't block the Hunter's Clave, given it's just coming in for 1, and they are not always 100% sure what I can do with the mark. But here they play the Shelter from the Storm as an instant, so preventing the next 3 damage. That's obviously the Hunter's Clave hit here, and any potential throw from Flick Knives, right? So I don't really have an option to get my opponent marked here. Nevertheless, I still have like some power here, right? So here I decide to go for the Hunter's Glaive and then play the Torrential Toxin on it. It takes one value off of the shelter, right? Because I'm not coming in for 2 attacks or anything. And I mark them and they get some damage, right? But it's obviously not really a disruptive hand here. I transform into Orb Weaver, which is kind of nice as I don't have a Chelicera equipped right now. And I learned it's not Chelicera, it's Chelicera. Right, so they come in with a Plow Under. Probably don't have enough to banish, so do not need to put my card below deck. It's just coming in for 2, right? So absolutely no need for me to block here as I have quite a powerful hand here. So I kick things off with the Hunter's Glaive as I want to flick one of the Glaives to equip one of the Chelicera. Interestingly enough, they give me 3 block here on the Hunter's Glaive, even though they are already marked. Not sure that this was a smart block from their end, but I flicked, so they take 1 damage. Now I use the Orb Weaver to discard a card, most likely the Pain in the Backside or the Black Widow here. I'd actually choose the Black Widow. Now play the Cut from the Same Cloth, then coming in for the Chelicera for 9? 8. Yes, 8. Sorry, can't calculate anymore. Yes, because it doesn't get the +1 from the Arakni. So in their hand, they have an Everbloom Life, Fruits of the Forest, and a Rotbound Carapace. So there's some block value, also some life gain option here. And they end up blocking with the Stonewall Gauntlet on top of things. So I get -1 on the power of the dagger. So that gives them the room to play the Rootbound Carapace. Here it comes, and I'm not sure if they had enough to banish. Yes, they had enough to banish, so this goes up to 7, but obviously leaving their graveyard a little bit starved. So next, I play the Pain in the Backside for another 3 damage, plus an eventual 4th damage, depending on if it hits, and I can hit them with the dagger. They're not blocking, so they take 4, and I choose the Hunter's Glaive to deal the 4th damage and mark them again. Again, quite a powerful hand with the dagger buffs, the Black Widow as they are already marked, and the Sail Bloodshed. I also have the Tunic up, so a resource I could use for the Chelicera. But first I need to put a card underneath. Probably I should take the Orb Weaver, I guess, as I already have a Chelicera equipped. But there's also obviously a lot of dagger power, and I'm not sure if they stay marked. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if I'm happy with my decision. I think I would have liked to take the Orb Weaver and then go Cut from the Same Cloth, save a Bloodshed into Chelicera, attacking with the Black Widow afterwards. I could flick the Glaive and threaten to banish a card from their hand, and I could still re-equip it with the Pick Up the Point that I have in Arsenal. But first to take a look at the hand, E-Strike, Fruits of the Forest, Autumn Touch, and Emeritus Scolding. So here coming in for a very powerful 13, which is very nice. Most likely drawing a card for me as they are marked. And it might be quite tough for them to block this out. They actually try to block this out, so they give me everything they have. All right, interesting. But as I have the Retrieve in Arsenal, I can easily flick this. But the draw is like not really needed, right? I mean, I can't do much with a Just a Nick here. Nevertheless, this gives me the option to play the Pick Up the Point and use Just a Nick as a resource to re-equip the dagger. They can't block, so they definitely need to take these 3 points of damage here. They're still a little bit ahead on life. I obviously take away the mark, so I'm not transforming, which is okay with the hand that I'm drawing here, right? I could take up the Mantle to the Glaive, then come in with Pain in the Backside, playing Leave No Witnesses, and then put the Codex of Frailty into my arsenal. I'm not sure if it would make sense to play Snapdragons into Codex. Depends a little bit on how they block, but I think they still have a couple of attacks in their graveyard, so I don't want them to put another felling or anything into their graveyard, obviously. So they played the mental block to negate the hit of the Hunter's Clave. They give me the Emeritus Scolding here for pain in the backside. And so there's still one floating on the avoid the damage. Now they give me 3 block, the Warmongers. So they don't take damage. I put the Codex into Arsenal. They have 1 card. So kind of like an okay turn for me here. They choose the Everbloom Life. They gain a life and they select an E-Strike that was put underneath the deck. So my hand is very blue heavy, but I do have 3 reactions here to play the Bonds eventually. I should definitely pitch into the Hunter's Clay first, ideally mark them, go with a Graphene Chelicera, and then go from there. If I want to play the Codex, I might need to discard one of my blue cards because it's quite difficult to convert them here efficiently. So they take 1 from the Clave, they are marked, which enables me to play the Graphene Chelicera for 2 go again. They're actually blocking this with an Evergreen, which is good for me because they are not losing the mark. Right, so I still have the option to play one of the blue cards, and here I play the Bonds of Agony. It's the most threatening I can do here, and I could flick one of the daggers. I could use the Snapdragon Scalers as well as the Stains of the Redback, which would bring it up to 8, most likely, depending on which dagger I flick. And yeah, actually I'm not choosing to do this here, but because they gave me so much block already, I chose to use the Snapdragons, because here I can give the Mark of the Black Widow go again. They don't have anything, any card anymore, nothing in arsenal, nothing in hand. So here it's actually very good value to play the Codex of Frailty. Yes, they can put a card into the arsenal as well, but either they need to sync it with the Crown of Providence, or it gets hit and destroyed, or better to say banished, with the Leave No Witnesses. But here, obviously, they chose a Felling, they used Crown of Providence, so this brings a Felling back into their deck. And they drew Direct, so they can actually completely cover the Leave No Witnesses. So yeah, basically I gave them a card back into their deck, but at the same time the Crown of Providence is gone, which is nice, right? So the Leave No Witnesses I draw here is actually way more threatening. So here it's an interesting hand again. I drew the Mark of the Black Widow blue, which is a good attack here actually with the hand that I've drawn, because I can play just a Nick on it. I have enough for Stains of the Redback, and I also could play the Shred, right? So I could now go just a Nick, bring it up to 6, play Stains of the Redback for free as they are still marked, bring it up to 9, which would banish a card from the hand as well as the top card of their deck. Then I can play Leave No Witnesses, and if they block that, I could Shred it, or worst case scenario, I put the Shred into my arsenal. I could also play it now on the Mark of the Black Widow, as they most likely not block the Leave No Witnesses, as I don't have anything in arsenal. So, or I could also flick the Chelicera now and use Orb Weaver to create another Chelicera. But that would obviously take away the mark. And yeah, I choose to play the Shred here, doing 9 points of damage, discarding it to the Orb Weaver would not have done significantly more damage, right? So yeah, I'm fine with this choice here. They still have 2 cards in hand. And because they don't have an arsenal, I'm debating if I should just send the Chelicera for 1 or play the Leave No Witnesses. But I decide for the Chelicera here. Maybe they put something into the arsenal next turn and we go from there. Okay, they don't, because they play a Heartbeat of Candlehold. So they ping me with a lot of arcane damage, but given I only have reds in my hand, I don't have much to do here. And then they Waning Moon me for 2, so I'm going down to 16. But my hand is kind of potent, right? I could play both of the up sticks and run, use the Tunic resource, or maybe actually like even the Leave No Witnesses for the resource for Graphene Chelicera. But actually deciding to use the resource of Tunic as well as the Leave No Witness for 5 here on the Hunter's Clave, leading up with the up sticks and run. Now I could, if I mark them, play the... probably just pitch the up sticks and run into the Chelicera and then leverage the Toxin afterwards. But yeah, given they don't let me mark them, I have no option of go again, but I think that's okay. So actually take a different route here using the up sticks and run, and then most likely playing the, or using the Toxin as the resource, which is way more heads up, so they know they take 5. They still have 2 cards. But yeah, it is, I think it's fine either way. Tarantula Toxin only makes sense if they really block me. Okay, so have a D-React, another up sticks and run. They seem to be clung together here. Another Stainzel red back and a blue. So I can finally get to play my Leave No Witnesses in Arsenal, I suppose. But here I need to decide, do I want to use Arcane Barrier? I decide not to, as the blue is kind of good for my dagger plan here. I could have pitched the Den of the Spider maybe, but yeah, also not 100% needed here. Cool. So I hope to get them marked with this Hunter's Clay for 1, which would allow me for go again on the Chelicera. It doesn't really allow me to flick, right? Also because I'm a resource short, I could have used the Den of the Spider to retrieve, but yeah, I think this is fine. It's coming in for 6. I can now play the Stains of the Red back, so it goes up to 9. They are blocking quite a bit. They're blocking 7 with the Bark Skin, so 2 over. Now coming in for 4 again with the Leave No Witnesses, threatening to banish the top card of their deck. And then down to 7, I have a direct in Arsenal. But yeah, let's see, maybe they're coming with an Arcane spell. My next hand is kind of unfortunate. It's 2 CNCs, a Lair of the Spider, and the Pain in the backside. I don't have Tunic resource up, so to play Command and Conquer, I would need to hold 2 cards in my hand, but they're coming with a Felling, so I need to put a card below deck, and they're still threatening 8 damage. So multiple things I could do. Actually deciding not to block here. I could have blocked with Command and Conquer and the Lair of the Spider to block 9, but here I'm deciding to take 2, probably coming in with a Pain in the backside, putting the Command and Conquer into Arsenal. They give me 1 card, so they have 3 cards left of the CNC in Arsenal, transformed into the Black Widow, and also quite a potent hand for this. But first they come with 1 here for arcane damage. I could use the Expose because they most likely will pitch into Waning Moon, right? So coming in for another 2 damage. So I could prevent 2 of that in total. Pitching the Expose, but also the Expose is kind of nice, right? Because it's universal +1, so even on the CNC would allow me to. So yeah, I decided not to do this. This brings me a bit into jeopardy, right? Because now I'm down to 8 life, which is, if they have Burn Bear, definitely in kill range for Verdance. But I have a strong hand here, so I decide to start with the Persuasive Prognosis, which comes in for 1. I could discard the Orb Weaver to give it +3 and the Banish option. I could also play the Take Up the Mantle, right? And with the Take Up the Mantle and having the Exposed in hand, it's 3 attack reactions, right? So I could bring this up to make it into a Bonds, for example, or a Kiss of Death for an additional damage. But they still have their Storm Striders up, right? So this is a little bit of a do they have it or not game. Right, so we take it step by step, deciding here to take the Bonds with the Take Up the Mantle, so they know what's coming. Discarding a card. Yeah, obviously the Exposed can't be discarded because it's not an assassin attack. So this is the 3rd. Bringing it up to 10 here. 11, sorry, because of the Exposed effect. So yeah, my opponent would be dead if they don't have D-Reacts. If they only have 1 for D-React, they're also dead. Also because I could still flick a dagger, right? I still left that option open. So now it's time for them to go and try to win this with a Stormstriders. Cool. So they activate Stormstriders. I still have a Tunic resource floating, so I already activate this and also have the Spell Void available for the Widow Veil Respirator. They actually have the Burn Bear, right? So they come in for 6 now and then 3 afterwards. So I can pitch into this for 1 and then do the Spell Void. Waning Moon comes in for 3. I have 4 life, so if they don't have anything else, that is GG. They do have the Sink Below, so which would still leave them at dead. All right, so that was the game. It was a very close win. I can't remember. Well, there were a few decisions, right, where I could have played it differently for sure. So let me know in the comments if you would have done anything completely different. But overarchingly, I think this was a fine game, which I navigated okay. As said in the beginning, I think there's still a debate if you really need AB into Verdance. Oftentimes, it's not just 1 ping damage like with the Rune Chance or anything, but then if Burn Bear comes, it's 6 damage. So if I then use a blue to pitch into that, I lose a lot of value. And also my reds are often worth more than just 1. So yeah, I will test this a little bit more to see what feels best. But thanks again for watching. If you like the videos, please like and subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot. I think I crossed 75 followers just this week. So hopefully making it to 100 very soon. Thanks again and take care. Bye-bye.